loud.
Coming at you. From coast to coast. The host with the most. Step inside. Come on by.
Come on by.
With the
Welcome to Real Hours. Oh, somebody's knocking on the door.
So funny.
Somebody's knocking on the window, so we're gonna let this play out.
You keep going.
I'm gonna keep going. Welcome to Real Hours, Season 2, Episode 8. I've got Greg here with me. Greg, say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Greg. Hi. This is 2/3 in person because the government of New Brunswick has allowed us. Currently, Peter and I's significant others are outside the window as we're recording this pod, but we'll just leave that be. And the music's a little bit loud in my ear. This is pretty fun.
It's very loud.
It's all fun and games. Anyways, welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 to the Real Hours podcast. This is a real hour.
This is episode codename Off the Rails.
Yes, we're calling this Off the Rails. I decided as we were getting ready that I was going to have one knee up on the couch and I was just going to be chillaxing. Greg, you probably can't see my knee very well, but I'm just really chilling.
Yeah.
I've got...
Oh my gosh.
Just going to give a little wave there, but Greg, how was your week?
Hang on, I'm subbing in.
Oh.
You need to go over there.
Oh, I have to go over there now. Okay. See you in a bit, podcasters or listeners.
Greg,
Peter, welcome back.
what's up? My girlfriend brought me a muffin.
Wow.
Brittany brought me a muffin. Freaking sick. I hear that you make some muffins on from time to time. Hey?
Sometimes when I'm feeling like it.
What kind of muffins do you make?
Well, a little while ago we made some double chocolate cherry muffins.
Chocolate and cherry, huh?
Yeah.
Is it dark chocolate or milk?
muffins with chocolate chips and
Oh yeah.
cut up cherry.
Oh yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. What did you make that time that you made one for Andrew? Was that the double chocolate cherry?
That was the double chocolate cherry.
Okay,
yeah.
what does it take for... How do you feel about next week for the podcast? You know, just if you're coming in person, you know, maybe spreading the wealth. Sharing the wealth.
We'll see.
Okay, I would love that. I would love that.
You have to...
Maybe I'll make something and give you something in return.
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
it's a
Nate...
give and take.
Oh, Nate's coming back soon. He'll be back in a second. He'll just... Don't forget to close the window because it's getting freaking cold in here, buddy.
Hurry up, Nate.
So I heard that Nate was, you know, leading you into how your week was. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your week, Mr. Producer Greg?
Well, I mean, this is my segment. I'm going to lead it here.
Yeah.
This is Weekly Check-In. We're the boys and we're talking. All right, that's it. A segment introduced. My week was... I mean, it was a pretty average week, but it's starting to get warmer. The snow's starting to melt, and I've been listening to my running playlist like pretty much nonstop, and so I'm just like, I'm ready for running
Do you feel all motivated and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you feel what's on your running playlist? Give us a preview. I know we can't listen to it because copyright.
Oh boy, it's
Get monetized.
Bands who are way too much hard asses. But like, did I just swear on the podcast? Oh my gosh!
Peter.
I'll beep it out. Don't worry.
Wow.
Like I said, this is the unhinged Real Hours.
Wow.
After that
live
off the rails, after that live stream, we've really just lost all mojo. The week off really took us for a spin.
We'll be back. Hey, next week you can expect the best Real Hours podcast.
This week.
This week. Oh, it's
some
best depending
great
on how you look at
content.
it, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, if you like Unhinged, you've come to the right place.
Yeah.
Okay.
This week, we're going to be talking about some of the weirdest stuff that we've ever experienced in our life.
Keeping it
Some of
cash.
Some of the weirdest content creators.
How do you spell cash? Like the sound cash from casual? Is it just
Casual?
CAS? Because you get like the zzz
No.
from SU.
Instead of an S, it's a Z. Kaz.
Kaz. Keeping it Kaz. Keeping it Kaz.
Cash.
Okay. Greg, tell us what's on your playlist because I asked you that. You never.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I think it's the longest playlist that I've ever created.
How many songs?
How long do you go for a run?
What?
How long do you go for a run for?
It depends on how motivated I feel. That's why a good running playlist is the key.
Okay.
Let's see here. 176 songs,
Dang.
11 hours and 40 minutes.
If you ask me, that's borderline too much. Now, maybe for a running playlist, it's a bit different. 'Cause
Yeah.
You probably want something. I don't know if you want something different or not. Give us the highlights though. The first like 5 songs that are on it.
So something that I like to do is I like to name my playlists
Yeah, you do.
after the songs that inspired it. So I have it named "Eye of the Tiger." So I bet you can guess what the first song on the list is.
I think I can.
But I mean, we've got everything from Van Halen, "Jump,"
Oh,
to Mr. Blue Sky. There's actually a couple songs on here from a local band.
Who is it?
They're called Joyful Noise. They're kind of like a funk fusion band. They're pretty
That
good.
sounds like the most Greg Parks thing I've heard.
Yeah.
Greg,
We've got
you take
Need to
pride.
Breathe.
Oh yeah, you take pride in your Spotify playlist, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you like put hours into it.
They are my prized possessions.
I take pride in Canadian rock legend Jeremy Taggart following my yacht rock playlist.
I take pride. I made a playlist,
Yeah.
a Spotify playlist that's all Canadian artists,
Yeah.
and that's like my prized possession. But I find it really hard to sit and actually make a Spotify playlist,
Yeah.
like, and make it your prized possession because it just
It's like you're
It's-
trying too hard.
well, and you like it can become very time consuming, especially when you're actually
Yeah.
trying to discover new music through a playlist because
Yeah.
you know how they do
You
like the
just go
recommended.
through the recommended, yeah.
Yeah, I find that you can get lost really quickly.
You know what song's in my head right now? I don't know if this is on your running playlist. It could be. Dance the Night Away by Van Halen. That's in my head right now. And that will not come out. I was on a bit of a internet rabbit hole research binge, whatever you want to call it, of Van Halen today. And anyway, I just listened to a bunch, and I don't really have much to report back, to be honest. Like, everybody knows the Van Halen story.
I've
like-
got a pretty lame listening on Spotify right now. I don't listen to a whole lot.
My what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Greg, I got a recommendation for your running playlist. Do you ever listen to the Killers?
It sounds familiar.
Coming
You know-
out of my cage.
Yeah, you know,
Do it
Mr.
just
Mr.
fine.
Oh,
Brightside.
yeah.
Yeah. There's one from that album. I don't even know what that album's called because, you know, our generation, we don't even listen to albums. We just listen to songs.
One hit wonder.
Playlists. No, they've got some other songs. But it's called All These Things That I've Done. Very good song. There's a very nice lead electric line. There's some cool synths. And then there's like a part where there's like a really cool thing with a choir. Anyway, that's a good one. And I have this playlist that I haven't named it yet. I called Not Sure What to Name This One because I'm waiting for it to be named. I'm not even going to go through it yet, but follow me on Spotify. That's all I got to say. If you follow the podcast closely enough, you can follow me on Spotify and then find us out. Hey, we should make a podcast Spotify account and like
We actually should. That'd be
share
pretty
our
sick.
music and like we can make collaborative playlists.
Can you do that? Like,
I think so. The fans
be
can add
sick.
songs.
Ooh, let's do that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'd love some new artist recommendations.
Hit us up at Real Hours Pod, ladies.
Because
and
I don't
gentlemen.
really
You
listen
know where
to a whole
find
lot
us.
right now.
You know
I
where to
really,
find us.
I really like Leon Bridges right now.
Yeah. Hey,
He's really
he's pretty good.
He's really good.
Who else is the one? Because he did stuff with John Mayer.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Greg, do you listen to Leon Bridges? You probably
No,
do.
I haven't.
Oh, you should listen to him. He's
Very
really
just
good.
like soulful and groovy, kind of bluesy like
Yeah.
influence, but also like some like hip hop beats, kind of like, you know, like just different beats. Kind of cool, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Greg, when like what's your normal running route? How far do you go?
Well, the farthest that I have run, I really got into it last year.
Yeah.
But the farthest that I ran last year was from like where my dad and brother live, all the way to like on the trail, pretty much right down to where you live, Pete, and then back,
Yeah, that's a good run.
which was
I've
about
done-
15K.
I've done pretty close to that. I think I've done. Is that actually 15K? Wow, that's longer than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I've done all the way to where sunset starts from here,
Yeah.
and I think that's like 12 or a little less, like 11. But
One time I saw Greg.
oh yeah,
One time I saw you running. I was
Yeah.
with Jilly. Were we walking or were we on our bikes?
You were on your bikes.
Yeah, we were on our bikes and we drove by you. I thought that was funny.
Greg,
think
how do you
that may
listen to
have been
music
the
when you do
day.
it? Do you do the phone in hand, or do you have a good pocket, or do you have the armband?
I do the phone in hand.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna need to get like a waistband
Yeah.
type
Oh,
thing
yeah.
because I would need my keys to get back into my apartment. So
Let me tell you,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a good set of shorts. I'm gonna
oh,
get
do they
roasted
have
for
like
this.
the spandex liner?
No, not quite.
Oh.
They're from Lululemon. But they have a pocket like on the back that's very shallow, and it holds my phone in it very nicely when I go for a run. Because I still wear shorts this time of year. I just wear like I wear like a base layer underneath, and
Leggings.
yeah, meggings as my mom and dad would call them. No, it's just a roast anyway. Still do.
Remember when you were in grade 8 and all you cared about when you played basketball was what accessories you
Right.
had on?
Remember when I was in third year university and all I cared about basketball was the accessories?
Remember the dude perfect basketball stereotypes?
Yes, there's
And-
Mr. Accessory, and he's
and
got
I-
like
yeah,
two arm
Mr.
sleeves, he's got like a
Yeah,
headband.
That was
he's got-
literally you
Yeah.
in middle school and high school. That's all you cared
Not
about.
quite. It's what I aspired to be. I don't think I ever was that because I didn't have the money to buy all that stuff. But
You literally made your aunt go with you to Moncton to go look at leggings for basketball, padded leggings. You don't remember that? Diana used to roast you for that.
Wait,
I
I
don't think we
remember.
went to Moncton specifically for that. I think it was there
No, you
for
were-
a tournament or something.
Yeah, you were like in Moncton and you made her go with you to like somewhere.
Yeah, because my parents wouldn't because they were like, you don't need
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember the first pair of leggings that you got, Peter. You ripped them like
in the first
Yeah.
game. In the
yeah,
first
the
game.
first game.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's because it
I-
doesn't fit my style of play. All of the people who wear them are the pretty boys who don't dive in the floor to get the balls
Yeah.
and like, do all that stuff, but I did. And it didn't work out. So that's why I needed the padded ones so that they wouldn't rip. But then freaking
Poor
just couldn't
Peter.
find any. And
Listen,
listen, I'll
if
tell you,
wanna
Russell
wear-
Westbrook looks pretty cool with a pair of padded leggings on.
Listen, everyone has the right to wear what they want.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
here to.
Yeah.
Unless it's you, I'm gonna judge you.
That's the way it goes here
So Greg's ready for running
when
season.
we're keeping it cat.
yes. What about Peter? What are
Keep it
you?
a
What
cat.
have you been up to this week?
Well, I tell you, Greg, I wish I could be running like you. I wish I could be running actually like your dad. I think your dad's more of a hardcore runner than you are.
Yeah, he
He ran a
runs
couple
like
times on campus.
all throughout.
I
the
love
seasons.
he's got the running room look, like the
Yeah.
reflective jacket, the like
Yep.
where are his shoes from? The other New Balance or like Saucony, and he's like, he's really into it. Brooks, that's another running shoe brand that I'm pretty sure the people from Running Room love.
No, he's got New Balance. He always gets the
yeah.
new pair every year.
Yep.
I love New Balance.
Big New Balance. You got a big wide foot.
I got a wide foot, and not very many shoe companies will do 4E.
My dad
4Es,
my
like
dad's
the
got the same
widest.
thing. Same thing.
Yeah, it used to be a big issue because they used to only sell like the white New Balance, like
The dad shoes. Yeah.
But they
My dad
actually
wears
sell they actually sell online really good 4E. And
Oh, yeah.
every time I go to the States, I always go to the nearest New Balance. Like when we went
Yeah.
to John Mayer. Yeah, it was John Mayer, right?
Yeah.
When we went to John Mayer, I got a pair, and then when we went to Florida last March, I got
a pair
another
too.
pair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whenever you get the chance, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. This week, I think I went for one run. Maybe. Yeah. Not enough. I need to go for a run.
I
every
hit the
day.
bite every day this
I gotta do
while
that.
playing Call of Duty Warzone.
Attaboy.
I
Attaboy.
watched a lot of YouTube videos, getting better.
Yeah?
better.
The other thing I was doing this week was working on my resume and applying for jobs for the summer and for the fall and everything. So that's something that I had an interview today. I'm very stressed about, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I don't know if I should share that I have an interview because then it's like there's an expectation amongst people. Whatever. Yeah, I'll
Nah,
just
don't
say
worry
I'll
about
just
it.
say I bombed the interview. Probably won't get the job. And then when I do get the job, it'd be like, oh, good job.
I'm not gonna get the job.
Yeah, no, not gonna get it. Didn't go good.
I haven't applied for a single job this summer.
So you have a cool summer job, like opportunity potentially
Hopefully.
lined up.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk
Uh,
about that or?
I mean, I don't know if it'll happen yet, but
Oh, okay.
because I want to do my honors project next year on like some stuff to do with muscles because they have a parasitic stage.
Yeah.
And a prof that I met while doing the marine block, he said he would be my supervisor, and I asked him if he could like find me summer work for this summer to work with him and his team, and so he's looking for funding for me right now. I haven't heard back from him about it, but he said he had a meeting last week, so I'm pretty hopeful on that. Fingers crossed that it'll go well.
Let's get Nate that job so we can bring us more of them endangered species of the
Yeah.
week. Let's
Yes.
go.
I think there'll be some cool stories that would come out of doing this. I think there'll be like some cool like trips going to like catch things, catch fish.
Oh, yeah. Catch and release. Catch and release.
Because did you know that mussels, did I ever tell you that they have a parasitic, like when they're larvae, they latch on to fish's gills. And that's how they move. And then they unlatch. What is this even?
I don't know. You just kind of go.
Okay. Anyways, yes, they have a parasitic stage.
Funny thing is, I can't hear you because all I can hear in my ears is the music. So just give it a second.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Anyways, yes, they have a parasitic stage. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll probably be doing something with that, maybe, hopefully.
You been happy about the warm temperatures we've been having lately?
I have been. It's probably some of the warmer temperatures I've seen in the first half of March.
I tell you, yesterday I left the house. I didn't put a jacket on. I just had a hoodie.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
You literally could. It was like 13 degrees yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Today wasn't far off either.
Oh, wait. What's 13 for those American?
Greg, do you know the conversion? I know it's like got to do with the numbers 32, 9, and 5.
Fahrenheit? The fact that Americans are still on the imperial
55.4.
system
55.4.
is the stupidest thing.
That makes no sense. 55 to 50.
10 inches.
Hey, listen, let's not. You know what? The inches and feet, I'm pretty in on. Just because I don't get the whole centimeters, meters. Like I get it, but I just don't. It's like it's not as applicable for like building things. But Fahrenheit is like objectively ununderstandable.
A mile is stupid, though.
Yeah, a mile's kind of silly.
It's just dumb. The rest of the world has like been like, okay, let's
Do you know
go
a
with-
yard and a meter should be equal, but they're not. A meter is bigger. So, here we go. You know what? I just thought of something. The imperial system should decide that the yard is going to become a meter, and then a foot is going to become what, like a third of a meter, right? Because three feet is a yard. And then an inch is going to become a 36th of a meter because 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard, and a meter in a yard are equal. And that way there is some correlation that actually makes sense between like 2.54 centimeters is an inch.
I think
At that point, why don't you
Americans are
just switch to
stubborn.
the metric?
I guess so.
I think Americans are just stubborn and they won't admit
Yeah, but so are
that's the
people
right-
here.
Well, and the
Right?
longer they wait, the worse it's
The
gonna get.
rest of the world, not just Canada.
Yeah. But everybody's kind of hesitant to hop over on it, like totally. I don't know what it's like. I can't really speak for Europe. I can't really speak for other areas of the world. But in North America, it's like, especially in Canada, like people are still like people like my parents' age are still, or like a little bit older, are still like, oh yeah, it's 55 degrees today, or like, I don't get that. My parents are my
Talking
parents aren't like
Fahrenheit?
that. Oh yeah, my grandparents. Seriously, yeah.
Really?
People like, yeah, seriously, if you
I
ask your
never-
grandparents, like, what's the temperature in here? Oh, it's 55. Oh, it's 65. It's 75. Of course, I have no idea what that means, but
Yeah.
well,
I've
we're off to a roaring start here on CaZzZz
Yeah.
Hours. It's been 20 minutes that we've been recording, and we've only got past the first segment. It's kind of a relief, actually, since we don't have that much stuff in the dock, huh?
Not at all.
Peter, why don't you lead us into Triple WS?
Okay.
Revamped.
Actually, I will.
Nate will. Wow.
You are entering weird, wild, and wacky stories.
Look at his face. He's so proud. Oh, man. So you may have heard that if you joined us or if you tuned in later for the Real Hours debut live stream on March 2nd, 2021 at 8 p.m. Atlantic time, you may have known that we
late.
were, what'd you say?
Keep going.
That we were, you got me off my train of thought there.
Just keep
You may have
going.
known that we were coming up with some nominees for the Weird, Wild, and Wacky Stories Hall of Fame. Which stories are the weirdest, the wildest, and the wackiest? And we came up with 3 nominees. So give me a little help here. We had the COVID, the monkey stealing the COVID samples. We had the young fella
Lambo kid.
from Utah who was going to drive to California to steal or to buy a Lamborghini with $3 in his parents' car. And the final story we had was, I believe,
the watermelon
thieves
mask.
with the watermelon masks. That's right. In Virginia, I think it was. Anyway, we put it out to you, the listeners.
You notice anything similar? Wait, where was the monkey one?
Not sure, to be honest. Can't remember.
I think it was India, wasn't it?
Okay, so 2 out of the 3 out of the
Are
great.
you saying something about Nate's ripping on the
United
U.S.?
States of America.
Nate's taking a strip off the United States.
Hey, listen. I watched a video today, and you ever watch those videos where like a Canadian and American like go at each other? Just like kidding, like just for fun. Just for all our American listeners, because we actually do have some. We
Epic
do have
rap
some
battles of
downloads.
history, maybe like Canada versus USA, War of
I want to say
1812.
that I love our neighbors to the south, but I'm also a little bit like Canadian pride, so I gotta do what I gotta do.
Some nationalism in you, some patriotism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we put out the 3 options in polls to you, the listeners, on our Instagram and Twitter. We said we are going to do it on YouTube, but it turns out you need 1,000 subscribers to be able to post polls on YouTube.
So how
YouTube
about
is
y'all
just really being
subscribe?
anti-creator here. Anyway, so get out there and subscribe to us. I think we got like 20 subscribers. 20?
Maybe.
20 current subscribers plus 9 in the last 28 days. Look at you guys really coming.
How many views did we have on the live stream? I think we had over 100.
110.
Yeah.
110, baby.
100.
And 11
And
likes.
I think I only account for like 20 of those views.
Yeah, I haven't refreshed the page and like kept watching. I don't do that. I never do that with podcasts.
25 is my mom
Yeah.
who can't see.
It's all good. It's all good. So, continuing, we had, I forget how many votes we had in total, but Instagram was where the majority of the votes came through. And in post, Nate's going to put in a little drum roll here.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. The Hall of Fame inductee for season 1, episode 1 to 6.
Hit the yay.
That's the wrong one.
Get that crap out of here. You didn't even say it. You're supposed to say it and then yay.
Monkeys stealing COVID samples wins in a landslide.
it.
Okay.
Hooray.
Was that your pick, Greg?
That was my pick.
That was so. Greg, congratulations on nominating the actual eventual winner. 100%
I
of the
think
vote on Twitter.
This is the competitive side of me.
Okay.
But this is like a competition for us to nominate the winner, like as a content podcast, one of the podcast people. It should be like our duty to find the best one and hopefully win.
So
and sell it.
So moving forward, then, is it the one that we nominate in the live stream, or is it the story we actually find and like put in the Google Doc and like?
Ooh, like the original.
Yeah, the original person who brings the story forward, and then we have to go get each of our best 3, and then we each nominate sort of our own best one.
Well, that's not fair to Greg. He'd
Yeah,
be
I'm
behind.
at
So
a
that would
disadvantage here.
leave Greg out for the next nomination series because we'll have
Yeah.
episodes 7 to 13 of season 1. But then as soon as
But
we hop
then
into season 2,
as soon as he had his season 2, he would wipe the platform clean of us. I don't know what I was just saying, but I was.
this is something we'll come back to when we get to season 2 nominees.
Because
I like this.
Greg had the. What was the one that started this all? That was Greg's,
The
wasn't it?
tongue and the seagull.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's already in the Hall of Fame. Like that's
there was another really good one he had too. Oh, the two-headed bird.
The two-headed
yeah.
bird.
You know what's funny? I saw that story. I read that story in CBC, and I was like, "Nah, it's not that interesting." I like went past it,
Then Greg hyped
and then
it
Greg
up.
just like he didn't steal it from me. Like who know? For all we know, he might have had it before me. But I actually read it, and I was like, "I should put this on podcast." And then
That's funny.
I never did. But Greg,
Greg's the only one with wacky stories this week.
well, I have one.
Okay.
I didn't come up with a question for it, but maybe I will. Anyway, we will. Yeah, we're really glad that you guys put together some votes for that, and we're able to chip in and voice your opinion. We will have more opportunities for that in the future. More live streams on YouTube with Hall of Fame
We're gonna
nominations.
try to do like one a month or something like that.
One a month? That sounds pretty good to me. What do you think, Greg?
I'm in. I'm always in.
He's always in. Let's go all in. What's that saying? All for one, one for all, baby. Let's go. Okay. first story of Weird, Wild, and Wacky stories today. Okay, and I found this. It's just a tweet. It's just a little short story. There's no real CBC whatever webpage story. It's a tweet from Brett Ruskin, who is a video journalist and reporter for CBC News, and he tweeted out on March 9th. New RCMP in Nova Scotia say 2 men were spotted riding this lawnmower Saturday around 4 p.m. down Cow Bay Road in Eastern Passage, bringing traffic to a crawl. The 55-year-old driver of the lawnmower has been charged with drunk driving. Now, we
What a
actually
legend.
had a
We've
story
had
very
a
similar to this.
In a similar
Um,
region.
I think,
Well, not in
I
Nova
want to say it was
Scotia,
up north. Yeah, it was up north.
Here,
Yeah,
in New
yeah.
Brunswick.
Maybe Grand Falls area, or was it the East Coast? I forget. But
Can't remember.
we have a story that's pretty much the same thing as this. And it just made me think. I don't really have a question for it, but it just seems interesting that we have sort of a repeat story. What's something that you like when you get to be an old man and like you're just like doing your thing, puttering around your yard, you want to do that's like kind of like this, but not like breaking the law? Like, do you have something that
I don't have something. I always picture myself just sitting on my porch in a rocking chair,
get off my lawn?
heckling kids. No, actually, I want to be the nice old guy. I want to be like the guy that all the kids, as they get off the school bus, they wave and they say hi to me.
You can be like the old man from Up, except like when he was married, not like when he was
Grumpy.
when he's grump.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was
I've never
widowed.
watched Up. Fun
No?
fact. No,
I don't think you're missing that much.
I don't think so either.
Just like another Pixar movie.
yeah.
Greg, what's your favorite Pixar movie?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
I feel like you're kind of opinionated on this. You might have something to say.
Like
I don't
Andrew
know.
would.
Andrew would be. Hey, you want to call up Andrew? Just kidding. We can't.
We've had enough of Andrew the past couple of weeks.
It's gonna pretty soon. It's gonna be
Man showed us
real
up on a
hours with
live
Andrew.
pod with his
Showed up with his
suit.
tuxedo on.
Yeah, with his
Oh
prom
my
suit.
word!
He showed us up.
Was he wearing suit pants or was he just wearing sweatpants underneath?
I think he
I
was.
think
he
it
was
was
sweatpants.
sweatpants.
I think it was sweatpants because he said he like ran upstairs and put them on.
What a man! What a guy!
It's because
Yeah.
Tony was watching. He wanted his dad to be proud.
Greg, what's your favorite Pixar movie?
Okay, let me look them up and I'll.
Look him up. You don't know. Okay,
I need a
Monsters
list.
Inc. Cars. Cars 2. Cars 3.
Incredibles.
Planes.
Is it Incredibles.
The Incredibles. Incredibles 2. Toy Story. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3. Is there a Toy Story 4?
Yeah.
Toy Story
There's
4.
a 4.
Star Wars. I'm just kidding.
Pixar.
Oh, I really like The Incredibles.
The Incredibles is
Yeah.
good. Hey, I have something to share, which you guys may or may not know already. When I was a child, I was extremely, extremely terrified of Bon Voyage. Like-
He's like 2 minutes in the movie.
Less than that. I was just absolutely. We'll put a picture of Bon Voyage up on the screen, but I was like petrified of him. I thought he lived in my basement. So I used to live different house, but I lived upstairs. My bedroom was upstairs. And let's say I was downstairs in the family room just doing something, whatever. If I was by myself, I would send it up those stairs. And parents are always like, turn the lights off when you're downstairs. So I'd turn the lights off and send it upstairs. Or sometimes I just not give a crap and leave the lights on, type of life. But
Rebel.
No.
absolutely terrified of Bon Voyage. Couldn't tell you why. Just
It's too bad.
I think mine is Cars.
Cars.
Yeah. Such a good movie.
Except like screw Rascal Flats.
Oh,
More of a Tom Cochran man myself, but
Cool.
Greg, what's your weird, wild, and wacky story for this week?
Okay, so this one, I mean, the title just says it all. Police. Man stole 400-pound slide from playground, mounted it on bunk bed. I mean,
This is
what?
a future Hall of Famer.
what I just need you
The
guys to
mugshot
open.
is quite something.
Yeah, the mugshot.
If you just hover over it, you get the mugshot.
Yo.
Is he cross-eyed? Is he what's going on? I don't want to make fun of the way people look,
Yeah.
but it's not a good look for this guy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you get what you come in when you steal a 400-pound slide, right? Of course, Real Hours is gonna come at you.
I wonder what circumstances led to this.
So basically, the police were investigating a bunch of catalytic converter thefts, and so
What is a catalytic converter, Greg?
don't ask me that. I don't know.
Is that the thing? Is that the thing in Back to the Future that they used to get?
First, that's
No,
a flux
that's
capacitor.
I know.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's
Funny
a
story.
joke. It's
Funny story.
sarcasm.
Whenever tech wasn't working at my house when I was like growing up, Dad would just be like, "Oh yeah, the flux capacitor is not working."
This is how much I know about cars. Therefore, if somebody was like, "Oh,
you know who knows
your
about
flux
cars?"
capacitor is shot," I would be like, "Oh, should I get that checked out?"
How much does that cost? to take care of?
Yeah.
Greg, this story is straight of Trailer Park Boys.
Absolutely.
Because it says he put it in his, he mounted it in a bunk bed in a child's bedroom at his mobile home. This is straight out of Trailer Park Boys. Pretty sure this guy is a character in Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cops showed up investigating the catalytic converter thefts, and then were just greeted by this ginormous slide from a playground, and they were like, oh, so that's where it went. Because it had been reported stolen like a few months ago, so...
And I guess they weren't really following leads. They weren't really chasing down leads for a stolen
No, it's low on the priority list.
But those catalytic converters, valuable.
Probably no one
very
knows
valuable.
it gone since no one should be at a public park during Corona.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like
true.
in New York where they like took down all the basketball meshes and like screwed them shut with like boards and stuff. That's kind of yeah, maybe it's doing a public service.
Yeah.
Which state was this in? Do we know?
Florida.
I think it's Boston.
Washington.
Oh,
Washington. Yep.
There you go.
Burbank, Washington. Washington State, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's another story here in the doc. Whose is this?
So what? Wait, hang on a second. I've got my question here.
He's got his question for
I
it.
didn't even notice this question. Excuse me.
So my question is, what's the largest thing that you think you could successfully steal and hide in your home?
I gave this some thought. I couldn't come up with an answer. Do you have a thought, Greg?
You guys are the ones who are answering the question.
That's right. Listen, I tell you.
He's not on trial.
I
here.
found
We
the
are.
article.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Me and Nate really did a poor job putting the podcast this week. But don't tell me. I'm just gonna say it was a busy week, and we're keeping it cash this week. So keeping it CaZzz.
Off the Rails podcast.
Keeping it
the
CaZzz.
rails.
So
Unhinged. How many different names can we come up for when you just
After
don't
Dark?
plan up? No, that's already used by.
everybody
Yeah,
uses that. It's
let's
not
take
just
it.
an
Oh, do they?
original H3H. After Dark, Unhinged.
Those are just excuses
Off the
for when
record.
we don't plan the podcast.
Off the record. Oh yeah.
That's
Why
all
don't we
it
just call
is.
it Real Hours Unplanned?
Lack of planning.
Unscripted.
Unscripted.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'll start.
Oh, he's got an answer.
I've got an answer. This is probably the hardest thing you could actually
got one.
steal. Oh, I guess I have to be able to successfully steal it.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say like a grand piano. Because they're like the hardest thing to move.
Yeah.
You have to get like the specialty guys to come move your grand piano. But even just like, I don't know, I'm into like nice furniture right now. Is that weird? Like I'm on the lookout for nice furniture, even though I don't have the money to spend.
Yeah.
But a nice piece of furniture, like a nice L sectional, that'd be great.
Section L.
L
Sectional.
sectional. Sectional.
Section L, because it's L shaped.
Shut up.
Peter, do you have an answer?
I do have an answer. Okay. So I can't remember what TV show this is for the life of me. It's a comedy show that I've watched recently, and I don't know what it is, but they go. I think it's Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, it's got to be Trailer Park Boys. They basically, the theory is that you can go into any government building as long as you wear a high vis vest and like a hard hat. You can get in anywhere, and you can steal anything. So I was thinking, steal a bunch of filing cabinets. Filing cabinets are not cheap. So someday, when the podcast has a big office and we've got some important paperwork because we got a bunch of employees on payroll and everything.
Yeah.
That's how we'll get our filing cabinets. We'll go in. We'll just say, oh yeah. Jason from management said that we should take all these, and they'll be bringing the new stuff in about an hour, and we'll just wear our high-vis vests and our hard hats, and we'll just take all the furniture we need, all the desks we need, all of the lovely conference tables, standing desks, Herman Miller chairs, filing cabinets, bookshelves, anything, and that's how we'll furnish our new office.
Great.
Really
We'll leave that
taking
to you,
it to-
Peter.
Stick it to the man.
Stick it to the.
Stick it to the man.
Oh, we lost our light.
Uh-oh.
She powered down bad.
Why did it power down?
I don't know. I can go turn it back on. Should I do it?
Yeah, turn it on.
All right. Well, somebody else carry the conversation for a bit. And my back's getting sore.
Oh,
From
yeah,
in
alright,
the
podcast.
meantime, Nate, what's your weird, wild, and wacky story?
Oh, I decided otherwise.
Oh, you're not going to use it? Okay.
Yeah, no. I was gonna leave the 400-pound guy into the conversation about airsoft fatty.
Oh.
Although I kind of feel bad to use his weight or the weight of the, but so I'm not going to,
I understand.
because at first I thought it said 400 pound like person, but
Yeah.
now that it's a slide, it's like not a good segue. It's a rude segue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is the slide? Is it actually weigh 400 pounds, or is it rated for 400-pound people? For up to 400 pounds. Anyway,
400-pound slide.
How do you steal a 400-pound slide?
you just gotta have like a couple people.
Ask this guy, this genius.
He looks
of a
like he
man.
took a drug and then became like super like, you know how when people become stronger than they really are? Like they think they're stronger than they are.
Like they're all like amped up with it.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
That's a drop. That's a drop. We got to get a screen recording of that. I'm fired up.
I'm fired up.
Great. Give us your best fired up impression. Oh, look at him.
Mind your business. Mind your business.
Hey, did y'all ever watch?
Back up.
What's the Blue Mountain State? Did you ever watch that?
No, isn't that like
No.
super inappropriate?
It's really bad. Yeah, I didn't know.
I don't watch inappropriate shows, Peter.
So it was on
It was on
Crackle. Anyway, do you remember Crackle?
Yeah, it was free.
Free. Yeah. So I ended up watching it, realizing it was extremely inappropriate later on. But the first episode, I forget his name. He's this big meathead football player, and he shoots before the game. He shoots up with rabies. He takes a little shot of rabies and
What the
injects
heck?
himself with it.
I'm all fired up.
That's what made me think of that.
That's probably one of my best Fresh Prince moments.
Mind your business. That's
Mind
all.
your
Back off.
You gotta act like you were in a military experiment gone wrong. Mind your business. That's all. Mind your business. Greg, you watch Fresh Prince? You had to watch Fresh Prince.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Peter and I used to live and die by Fresh Prince quotes when we were in like grade 8.
Dude, we crammed that stuff. You had the box
Yeah.
set. That was before it was on Netflix.
Oh,
Getting a big phone call.
You
Podcast
keep going, you
interruption.
keep going.
Number 2. Number 3? Number 4? Whatever.
Hello.
Many minutes later.
Okay. We had some technical difficulties. We are back. Unhinged podcast.
Hey, you better believe that as soon as we get the 3 of us in one room together, there won't be any of this. Inevitably there will be, but we're going to tell you that there won't be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it'll be the opposite direction. It'll go even worse than it was this week.
I think it'll be more unhinged. I think when we're in person, we're more ourselves. That's my
Yeah.
personal
Oh,
opinion.
I think that the content's better.
Well, I think we just can have better conversation when somebody else is like, instead of talking to a computer screen.
Yeah. The
like, it
timing
is-
is better.
Yeah.
There's something that you can pick up like from there's a little less latency and beyond that you can
Yeah.
understand things better. in person.
Okay, so Greg
Can't wait for it.
Greg has another weird, wild, and wacky story because he's the only one who did anything this week.
That's
Producer
right.
Greg is the
Real
goat.
hours with Greg and producer Nate and PJ.
Wait, that
Okay.
makes it sound like producer is below. Anyways.
No, producers act because Greg's actually producing the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like a hot minute of silence there. That was cool.
Okay.
Okay,
All
Greg.
right. So, this article has a bit of a misleading title. The actual title of the article is Rocket Mortgage Greatly Expands Partnership with Michigan State University Athletics, Continues Role as Official Mortgage Provider.
Let me tell you something here. Hang on. This is straight up, like that headline is straight up written by a communications major.
Yeah.
Like
That
this is not
also
from a
goes-
news site. This is straight up from the Michigan Spartans website. You can tell.
Yes.
You can tell.
So, yes, this is from the Michigan State University Spartans website. So, and I've kind of phrased the title of the article differently in our little script for this episode.
Greg, look
But-
at you, up and coming journalist.
Yeah, so basically, Rocket Mortgage signed I believe it was a 5-year contract with the Michigan State University Spartans. It's just like a university sports league, I guess. And basically, they've been supporting the teams for a long time. They've been like their longest standing supporter and support them by giving lots of money and stuff. And they secured a 5-year deal. And I'll just read the quote that I kind of came up with, which is Michigan State University men's basketball team will now be known as MSU Spartans, presented by Rocket Mortgage.
So is that real?
That is their real official title, at least for the duration of this 5-year contract deal. Which is just, I mean, take it as you will.
I wonder.
So does that mean if it's like part of if they're announcing the tournament, like the March Madness tournament schedule, do you think they have to call them?
I think so. Yeah.
That's their team name now.
Now who knows if other people fall through with it? But I'll tell you, like at Michigan State, like their home broadcasters will call them that for sure.
Yeah.
This
What
is
a
really
money
really interesting.
grab.
Yeah.
I wonder if this has to do with COVID and the university not having money coming in, and they need to find money somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the big assumption here is that they were short on money. So
Yeah.
Rocket Mortgage came in and was like, here's a bunch of money. Put us in your title.
This is pretty interesting. I wonder.
What's
I
the
don't.
how much money is it? Does it say, or does it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely
That
don't.
is a
see-
good
'Cause-
question.
That's a funny argument to make because I bet you it's good money, and you know
Oh, yeah.
how, like, there's a lot of arguments about college athletes. That's the word I was looking
Should
for.
they be making money?
Yeah.
Mm.
And this kind of brings up that topic of conversation. Colleges can make a lot of profit off of
Incredible amounts.
what
of
do they
money.
call
Student athletes?
amateur
Amateurs.
athletes, even
Mhm.
though they're all going pro, right? Like
yeah, they're not all going pro.
Not all, but like a lot. of them.
It's honestly a very select few. But
Right. But it's so loved by America.
oh yeah, like
The
college
NCAA.
football in a lot of places has more viewership, more fans, like more attendees than NFL football, and the same thing in college basketball versus NBA.
It's one of those things where there's no reason for a college athlete to not really make money, in my opinion. Like, I don't think there
Yeah.
really needs to be.
If the money's there, I honestly don't have an issue with it. The only thing is that I know that like a swimming team or like a golf team is going to have a hard time finding sponsors. And then you get into the weird thing where it's like, well, if the football team players earn money, then why are the golf team players or volleyball team players not earning
Yeah.
money? Because that's just weird. And then it's like, the
Well,
football team's driving revenue for the school already. Like football teams honestly bring in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars for NCAA schools.
Probably
And
bring in more money than actual tuition.
yes, but the reason that they can actually have those other sports like volleyball, golf, whatever, the small sports, water polo,
It's
equestrian,
because of-
is because football is bringing in so much revenue because those other sports are operating at a loss every season. And then last year, when college football couldn't happen, I mean, it did sort of happen at a smaller capacity, and NCAA basketball was canceled. A lot of schools dropped their programs for smaller sports.
So I wonder. This is a little philosophical, but I wonder because I feel like it's eventually gonna happen. Like it already started in like that athletes can get paid, like college athletes.
Yeah.
I wonder where it's like a fresh slate for these athletes, if there will still be the money divide between female athletes and male athletes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because that will really show if we've actually made any progress in this world, you know?
I think that if it's going to happen, like it's got to be equal for everyone, not only like between like male and female side, but also between the sports, right? Like it's got to be like you played college sports this year. Approximately how many hours did you put in? And based off that, we'll give you an honorarium.
Well, I don't think most people are talking about that. They're talking about the ability to be sponsored.
Oh,
like
sure.
Like when Zion was playing at Duke.
Yeah, sign a deal with Nike or
sign
Jordan
with
brand.
Nike. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And then he can be in Nike commercials and stuff. Yeah, it's a good question. What do you think, Greg? Do you think college athletes should be able to make money, or like, do you have a vested interest in this, or are you kind of apolitical?
You know my knowledge of sports and my care for sports, let alone sports politics. So,
but do you think it's because this is the basic question right now? Colleges are making money off of players,
copious amounts of money,
and the player
they can sell the player's jersey,
might get a scholarship, right?
They and probably some and maybe like free living on campus, free food, and then also but like free merch.
Still doesn't compare to the amount that Zion would have made Duke in that year.
Yeah,
like millions of dollars.
Oh Zion tens, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right. So, is it fair that an organization, a university, or a college can get away with making that kind of money and the player not getting, and they're selling his brand?
I mean, they can do what they want.
You're right, they can. But this is why some people don't want to go to college anymore. Like a lot of specifically, we'll talk basketball here.
Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga and a few players. There's literally a G League, like NBA, like farm team kind of league where there's a whole team of players that are pretty well, like, chose to skip college and go play there instead of playing in the NBA, because you have to have 1 year between high school and the NBA. So some people like LaMelo Ball and RJ Hampton chose to go play in New Zealand and Australia. Some people choose to go play in China. Some people choose to go play because those places, the pro leagues there, don't have restrictions on that. I think most of our listeners probably understand that, but yeah, it's such a hard question, and it's easy for us to say. I think it's really easy for us to say, yeah, college athletes should make money, because we can empathize with those people and know that, hey, like, might be pretty broke. And you've got this talent that you can't capitalize on, and it's just because the system's rigged against you. But then you got to consider like fairness, like for the other athletes, the gender gap, like the wage gap there. You also have to consider like can the school, like, are you, I don't know, like if you're working and if you're like doing advertisements and stuff as an athlete, like do you have the time to put to being a student?
Yeah.
Right? That's actually an important thing. Is like you're at school to be a student athlete. Student comes first.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really come first for a lot of student athletes, but
no, you should say UMB hockey team.
This has been Real Hours Rants with Peter Jewett.
I'm sorry. I let it a little loose. But we said we're keeping it cash and unhinged, after dark, unscripted, whatever.
Off the rails.
So this is a good segue then to Producer Greg's Sports Picks.
Wow.
Where the NBA All-Star Game was our pick of the week in the previous episode.
First dub of the year.
That's right, Nate. You picked it up. So Nate chose Team LeBron, and Greg chose Team Durant, which at the time we didn't know was going to be Team Durant. We just knew it was going to be Team player X because Durant, KD was hurt. We didn't know if he was going to play. Anyway, so we decided that he could just choose team player X, and Greg did. Team LeBron won pretty much in a blowout fashion. Wasn't that
The
exciting
teams
of a
weren't
game.
picked very well.
No, they weren't. Kevin Durant really did a bad job picking the team, if you ask me.
LeBron was
Kevin
like,
Durant picked a bunch of one-on-one scores, and LeBron actually built a team.
I looked at the teams and I was like, I don't even think I'm watching that because
Well, Greg didn't even watch it. Like,
I did not watch it, but that was not a conscious decision.
So we're now 2-1 in producer Greg sports picks. Producer Greg 2, Nate 1. I didn't come up with a pick of the week because I meant to do it while I was at work and I forgot to. So why don't we just
Brier.
come on? That's a good call, lady.
I've
That's
been
a
watching
good
the
call.
Brier all week.
Greg, do you ever watch Tim Hortons Brier?
What sport is that?
Oh
Curling.
no, you call yourself Canadian. This is men's
Yeah.
curling.
Okay.
So, did you hear what happened to our homeland team Grattan, team New Brunswick?
I didn't hear what happened. I was watching the game with them a couple days ago. I've been tuning in. My dad and mom are huge in the curling scene.
I love curling. So, they actually put a push for it this year.
Yeah, they were
to make it to the
decent. They were like
championship
4-2 at one point.
round. If they won last night, they would go to the championship round, and they were playing the 1-6 Yukon, or I think it was Yukon, and I was like, oh, they're gonna make it. I woke up this morning, they lost.
Yeah. It's a shame, eh?
Which is a shame because the other team means nothing, because they were already long out, And
Should we bring in my dad for a little bit of curling analysis?
No. Okay. Yeah. So they lost to Northwest Territories,
Mhm.
who are 2-6. They were 1-6 at the time.
Yeah.
And Canada was New Brunswick was 4-3. It would have been the first time in a long time.
Yeah. So we've got the 8 teams who are in the championship pool now. They're basically doing another little round robin. And then they're going to be placed into the playoff bracket. So we don't really know actually who's
Well, how about this?
going to be in the final.
I honestly just
Cooey, it's going to be Cooey and Gushu at the end, if you ask me.
no.
Actually, Jacobs is pretty good too.
No, it's gonna be. Have you seen the way Howard's been playing?
You mean the younger Howard, like with Wayne Madaw?
Yeah.
That's wildcard 3, eh? So,
Yeah.
so do you know the story about this team?
Yes.
Where why don't you tell it?
Well, he was retired since 2012.
Wayne Madaw, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a skiing accident, and he has
Yeah.
a rod in his leg that my dad said is like a 1.5 feet long.
And
of
he's
titanium.
he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the curling Hall of Fame last year.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yeah, screw it, I'm coming back."
Yeah.
And he's literally sweeping. He's lost 1 game out of 9
Yeah.
games. He's 8-1.
Yeah. So,
It's
but he's
phenomenal.
a replacement player, right? Because
Right.
Glenn Howard is the skip of the team,
Yeah.
but he wasn't able to make it
Yeah.
because he has another, I think, snowmobiling injury or something like that.
He's hitting his shots though.
And Madaw's just coming in and just freaking killing it.
He's hitting his shots.
Okay, so here we go. Let's call it this. We can say you can pick Madaw, the team Madaw, Team Howard, who is ranked number 1 right now, or you can take the field. So you can
Anyone else
anyone else.
to
Listen,
win the whole thing.
they're 8-1. I mean, the next team's 7-2. There's a couple teams 7-2, but they're ranked number 1 right now. They're playing pretty well. That's what we'll call it: Madaw / Howard or the field. Why don't we give Greg the first pick because he doesn't normally get the first pick?
I'm picking the field.
Greg's taking the field.
Yep.
Nate.
A little analysis here.
Oh, here.
Jacobs is playing pretty poorly, honestly.
Yeah.
The only reason he's in this round is because New Brunswick lost. So that's my opinion on that. Or they might actually.
I can just see what I'm going to title this podcast. NCAA should players get paid, and curling analysis. An extended
So-
cut of producer Greg's sports picks featuring PJ and Nate.
Jacob's not gonna win. Dunstone not gonna win. Gushu not playing that well. I'm gonna have to go
Can't
with.
count those guys out though.
It's a Cinderella story though.
Gushu's clutch. Cooey's clutch. Cooey's won gold medals. So's Gushu.
There's only one of those guys. There's only one player right now who's playing. That's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I'm going with the Hall of Famer.
All right, Team Howard for Nate.
Team Howard. I gotta trust in the process. Trust the process, just like
GTP.
Joel. Yeah, and it's a Cinderella story.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's a classic Canadian.
You know,
curling
New Brunswick
story.
could have been the Cinderella story.
I know.
Greg. Too bad. Too bad. There's always next year. Okay.
Do you guys want to? You know, I feel like there's not high competition in New Brunswick. Not to say that Team Grattan isn't good. That's not what I'm saying. But I think
Curling team?
I think we should make a curling team and we should take a run at the Brier. I would love to go play at the Brier. That'd be a dream. What's crazy is that these guys all get on television and then next week they'll come home and they'll go to their job at the, you know, what?
You think we could go to the Brier?
No. I think out of New Brunswick in a couple of years, you'd have a chance.
Maybe if we live in the Northwest Territories.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure it's by participation out of Northwest Territories.
You just
Like
pay
they're
fee
the
and you're
only
in.
team
It's-
in the
it's like,
entire Northwest
middle school
Territories.
sports. You just pay the fee and you're in.
No, they're like the only team for like
Because they're probably literally playing on the frozen ocean.
that's not to say
Greg,
that
you've curled with us, eh?
I have.
What do you think about curling? Like, how do you feel about curling?
I love it. It's fun.
I think you
I
were
just-
half decent, weren't you?
I don't know. I mean, you get used to it after a while.
Honestly, for me, the challenge is placing it somewhere between the line you have to get it past and the back of the
Your
the
weight.
back. Like,
Yeah.
Your
I
weight.
actually just can't throw it.
like it's actually it's funny.
It looks
how
so easy. It looks so
people
easy.
don't realize how hard it is.
Yeah, it looks so easy, but it's incredibly
It's like-
difficult. The finesse is amazing.
Because like the draw shot, which is like
Yeah.
trying to go for the button, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the chance for the button and you're the hammer,
Mhm.
like that shot, like most people shoot, like good players will shoot like a 75%.
Mhm,
Like they're
mhm.
only making that draw 75% of the time. And that's if you're like the best of the best. Like to shoot over 50% in your draw.
But
is
some
like-
people get hot and shoot like in the high 90s.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Because they're really good.
This has been curling talk
Curling talk.
on Real Hours. Keeping it cash. Keeping it CaZzz. Keeping it CaZzz. What do we have next here? We don't really have a whole lot left.
We were gonna talk obscure content creators
That's
on
right.
YouTube.
Yes.
That's right.
This came up because earlier today I was, you know, the dump and scroll. You know what I'm talking
No, I
about.
don't. But as soon as you say dump and scroll, like
You
you can
know
only
what I'm
mean
talking
one
about.
thing.
You know what I mean. You know,
Heading up to the dump and
Well, no, you're just scrolling on Facebook while you're on the toilet. You know. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. I came across this video by Barstool, which is quite the media source. They're kind of up there
Something.
with BuzzFeed.
they're a bit like a bit risque kind of.
Yeah,
A bit.
yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh, we have
You
another
go ahead.
interruption.
I'll start this out. So, basically, there was a gentleman they were interviewing named Airsoft Fatty, who's a YouTube creator. He got famous for his Star Wars videos,
Legend.
and Greg knows him, and he's a legend, I guess. So, basically, I decided we should talk about our favorite obscure content creators. I think we'll go with YouTube. I think that's the constant in this sense that the
Yeah.
most obscure place to find
Yeah.
a content creator is on YouTube. So I'll go first since this was my idea. This brings us back to like the OG of us as a friend group and what we used to do. We used to watch One Pug Life, and they're based out of Ontario, right?
Yeah,
they're
in
based
Wood,
at-
Ontario.
Yes, in Wood, Ontario. Yeah. So, how do we explain their videos, Greg?
It's like Ontario hick.
Yeah.
Dirt bike jumps and general
They just-
vlogging content, I guess.
Yeah, they're kind of like
Stunt drivers of farm equipment.
Yeah, they just do random crap. We talked about what did we talk about earlier? What's that show? I can't even think of it.
Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys. So they're kind of like that, except in real life.
Yeah.
Like they just do dumb crap. Like they'll soup up a lawnmower,
Yeah.
and they'll just go absolutely nuts. And like they'll build a ramp and they'll just send it over
They'll
this
try and
ramp.
jump over like
Over like
fridges and
two
laundry
washing
machines.
machines that are on
Yeah.
fire.
And what does he say? Freaking right, boys. Let's freaking
Oh,
send
friggin'
it.
rights, boys.
We'll drop a little, maybe a little.
One bug.
They
like
put
that.
on goalie gear to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right, Greg. They got like the goalie mask and the goalie
Yeah.
pads and like safety like vest on and like.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Safety third. That's their.
Yeah, that's the one. Safety third, bud.
Safety third.
Safety third. Those guys are the definition of buds. Like
Buds.
BAHDS. Shout out Taggart and Torrance podcast.
Okay. You take the
What's
lead
mine?
here for a second.
What was
Yeah.
mine? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's Badlands Chugs.
Yeah.
Badlands Chugs. Okay, so I came across Badlands Chugs when I was working at camp a couple summers ago. This is quite the ordeal we have going on here. This is
I don't
a
even know
lot.
what's going on. This is too much.
Who knows if this will make the show? Badlands Chugs is basically this large man. I don't even know what his real name is. And his YouTube channel, the premise of the entire thing is just doing chugs and like competitive eating, competitive drinking. And he has massive glasses of he'll pour like 8 2-liter Coke bottles into a big massive like glass boot he has, and just go tilt right back. Let me tell
It's terrifying.
you, it's terrifying because you're scared for his health. Like you feel like you're getting a brain freeze yourself as he's doing it.
Yeah.
He did one with Diet Coke and Mentos. He ate a bunch of
Oh,
Mentos and then drank
no.
some Diet Coke. He what else has he done that's ridiculous? He drank or he chewed a bunch of like
No more, my friend.
not like icebreakers and like gum, and then he drank like ice cold water. And what else has he done?
That was his
Just
twin.
absolute incredible feats of just like showing the limits of the human body, kind of, you know. I would like you to watch. Promise me you will watch one after this, Greg, with Michelle, please.
I don't know if I can do that.
The best one. I'm gonna find this drop and we'll play it. But he has this quote, and this is what he says. Quite funny. My breath is like straight Everest because frig, he's funny. Oh man. That's my obscure creator. Do you have one to share with us, sir?
I do have one. It's a little less crazy than both yours and Nate's, but it definitely piques my own interests.
Yeah.
And you may have heard of it. It's called the Brick Experiment Channel. Have you heard of it?
No, but is it like similar to like slow-mo guys or something like that, where they just take a brick and like just do a bunch of things with it? Is that kind of what the premise?
No. So it's all about Lego.
Let's go.
Um,
Come on.
And so basically he's got to be an engineer because he does so much stuff with like gear ratios and like trying to exert as much torque as he can on like a steel Lego piece.
Right. Yeah, I have seen this. I've seen
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Did he do one where it's like making a Googleplex? And it was like
I
making
think so.
gear
Yeah.
ratios so much that like there was one piece that would like turn every like Googleplex years or whatever like that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy because like there's a lot of math behind it. There's a lot of engineering. It's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. I haven't subscribed. I haven't gotten into it, but I have. I've seen it a couple times. I might recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I watched one today that he strapped a camera and then a little minifigure and then spun them at the same rate, like as fast
Oh.
as they would. And
yeah.
like each time the minifigure would pop off and he'd tie it down, and then like his torso would pop off, then he'd tie his torso down, and then his helmet popped off and he tied his helmet down. And I think he got up to like 5,000 RPM.
Wow,
It was just ridiculous.
that's wild. That's
And like
wild.
he stays like this, but everything around is just like spinning super
Right, 'cause
fast
the camera's
because
on it. That's insane.
yeah.
Have you seen the one where he takes sort of like the Pyrex container and puts motors into it and makes like a submarine out of Lego?
I think so.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. Because he can't put an axle through, like he can't put holes in it, right? Because he needs to
Yeah.
have the tech inside. Okay. So he uses magnets on either side of it to drive the engine. So there's
Yeah.
like 3 magnets like on one side and like 3 on the other, and they're connected through the glass. And it just works as he had made a remote control submarine. He put it in his
Yeah.
pool and like drove it around a little bit. Very, very cool. Very cool. I love things like that because you can just see like I don't know if I ever would have thought of that. But there are some people in the world who think of things like that, and like just because you never would have thought of it doesn't mean it's not interesting at all. Like, and clearly many people have thought of it as very interesting because it's got millions and millions of views. So.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're talking about?
No, not a clue.
We're talking.
Came in late.
We're talking about what's the channel name?
It's called the Brick Experiment Channel.
So it's like Lego experiments. They use like gears.
Okay.
You may have seen it and recommended. It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Greg went a different route than I was.
Total
Yeah,
different route.
completely different. But
Nate and I sort of went with like how weird can like the person be. Greg went with
Yeah.
like how weird can like the thing that the person is doing be.
Freaking
Sure.
right, bud.
Sort of. That doesn't actually make any sense, really.
no.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Yeah. It's keeping cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the rails.
What are we at here for the old recording? We're about 75 minutes. I feel like we can scrape a good 51 minutes out of that.
I think we're
Yeah.
just
Think so?
good.
We're gonna kind of wind it down here then. I think this has been
Yeah.
CaZzZz hours. CaZzZz hours. CaZzZz.
Thank you for blessing us with your views and downloads.
Views and
Yeah.
downloads.
And let me just say something. We talked about the Hall of Fame today. The Real Hours Weird Wild and Wacky Stories Hall of Fame. You better believe that in terms of awards, next week's episode will win the award of most improved.
Comeback story of the year.
Yeah, that's comeback player of the year. That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, follow us everywhere, please. At Real Hours Pod.
Please and thank
Please
you.
and thank you. Many blessings upon you and your family. God bless you.
Yes.
We would just love to hear from you. Hear anything you got. Send us realhourspod@gmail.com. For any sponsors, any out there, any potential sponsors, if you have a small business, we don't require a lot in return for airtime. So
Maybe it's just some free stuff.
just some swag, really, eh? Greg, what small business around here would you like to sponsor us?
Oh man, that's a good question.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
You'd probably. I mean, it's not really a small business. It's actually a pretty big business, but like B&H would be kind of freaking sick.
Oh yeah.
That'd be nice.
Anyway, listen, we're really
Radical
thinking
Ed.
about upping the production quality here next week.
I
Hopefully,
can't really afford another pair of MeUndies, but I really want more MeUndies.
do you know that if they're sponsors, they send you stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap it up
People
here.
need to download our podcast.
Download the podcast because I'm running out of underwear.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week with more Real Hours. Follow us everywhere you can, and we'll be back. Peace out.
Bye bye.